and most of the things that we feel like are entertaining and our listeners are gonna care the most about. So first, we're gonna start with
the Dream Act. So there's been the Dream Act has recently been on the forefront of in the Senate and the House, and as far as working towards an immigration reform. So for those of you who don't know what the Dream Act is, it is an act that if it goes through, it will allow students who were brought here when they were young people when they were brought here when they were underage by their parents illegally. So they're undocumented, and they have either graduated from high school with a diploma or a GED and are looking to go to college or or enlist in the military. And if they do these things after a certain amount of years, they can work towards legalizing their status and become residents of the country.
So basically, it's a piece of legislation that tries to pick the best of the best, the top of the cream in terms of the people that they wanna put in the path of legalization.
Yes.
So the young kids who are graduated from high school and who wanna go to college or wanna enlist in the military, which to me shouldn't be an option, but
and that they're saying that they were brought here without a choice, that their parents brought them here,
which is true.
And then now that they're here, they want to give back to their country because this is essentially where they've grown up. This is all they know. But because they don't have the proper documentation to either work or, you don't need it for school, but you do need it as far as some scholarships and financial aid. So it is very limiting if you don't have.
Otherwise you're gonna be paying huge amount of money to go to college. You know what I mean? If you they basically treat you as a tourist, right? If you are
depending on the state, you have to pay out-of-state tuition, and it would be like a foreigner. So if someone coming from a different country, coming to study here, coming abroad, and the tuition rates are ridiculously high. I mean, as is for those who are have legal status in this country, it's still very expensive. But if you don't have proper documentation, it's even more expensive. Yeah. So recently on Tuesday, the House voted on the act, and they actually passed it. So it passed in the House. It was 216 votes against 198, and it passed. And then it was supposed to go on to the Senate on Thursday to vote on it. But the Senate realized that they weren't going to have enough votes. They needed 60 votes, and they realized that they weren't going to have enough votes. So rather than putting it on the floor and having the senators vote, they put it on hold, and they want to redraft and edit so that it matches that of the draft that was signed in the House.
So redraft means to edit?
Just to edit and make sure that it matches what was signed already, what Republicans are going for, so that it has a chance of being passed in both the House and the Senate. And the reason for that is if it were to be passed and it's completely eliminated, next term the House will have a majority of Republicans as opposed to Democrats, which we have now, and we would also be losing 6 out of the 8 Republicans who voted yes on it on the next term. So if it did go on to the floor without those edits, then it would be pretty much lost.
So we want to do it now that we still got the majority, some Democrats in the House.
So there's supposed to be some edits in it, and then going back again, I think next week, to be voted on.
So we're close. We're close. You all gotta be patient,
close.
Man, because we're close. So we get in there.
And
just like the lawyer said one time. Remember that it was gonna get passed at some point.
Yeah, definitely. And also still be proactive, like make phone calls or organize. I know a lot of universities. I know UC Berkeley does a lot. So find organizations that you can get involved with.
Well, just show, you know what I think is really important and often goes, it's underrated. I think just expressing your opinion and show support on social networks. I think it's very important.
Definitely.
That's a very influential way to move people in that direction that might not agree with you or might be a little bit undecided about this issue. I think that really helps.
Especially if you're a person that kind of people look to you for an opinion. Also, like you can use your social capital in a positive way.
Yes.
And make
and
exposure.
If they think you're cool in any way, you know what I mean? They will really listen to you.
Yeah, if you have some credibility, it could definitely.
Yeah, that's why Lily be on there. Right after she posts her videos of YouTube right here over the show, she goes, I support the Dream Act. You should too. Thank you. This was
So
Lily,
support
sponsored by
it.
Lily.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm completely for it. I think that all these young people are here, and they're already here. That we exist, and they're here, and they want to give back to their community, and it's just a barrier as far as their success. So I really hope that this passes. But thinking on a broader immigration debate, I think that, considering how difficult every time that the draft has been edited, so the DREAM Act has been trying to be passed for a few years now, and every time that it comes around, everything just becomes a little bit more strict. So how long you have to wait, who qualifies, it's just more narrow as in terms of.
The path is getting more narrow.
Yeah, the path is getting more narrow. So I think that if it's this difficult for those who have the opportunity to have an education in America, which, I mean, it should be a given right, but unfortunately it's not that way. I feel like if it's just difficult to acquire citizenship or legalize for those who are young, can go to college or serve in the military, like what can be expected for the other millions?
It's not too encouraging about the future.
Exactly.
And what's going to happen in the future. What we're gonna do about fixing this situation?
Yeah, because
I mean, and you're right. I mean, you know, I think that the first versions of the DREAM Act were a little bit way more reasonable.
Yes, definitely.
This version, you know, it has a lot of buts, a lot of
restrictions.
Restrictions. So, you know, it definitely is not encouraging. It does not encourage. It's not make you feel encouraged about the future and what's gonna happen with the rest of the people who are parents, you know,
parents
of
who are taxpayers, who do have good moral standing and yet are in limbo. There isn't any road to legalization in this country as of now. So, and this will be the first one since 1986, since the last amnesty. So it's just a little worrisome to me as far as what's going to happen. So this would automatically help, I think, over 2 million undocumented people that are in the country now. But there's over 7 million, and that was like in the last census. So, you know, it's a lot of people are.
And